I would love to start, Edie, by just having the audience hear from your voice, just the Reader's Digest version of your experience that led you to the work that you do today. Just a quick, so take us back to the experience, and then we'll talk about this wonderful book and all the lessons that you've learned.
You look at life as one day. That morning sunshine may not come back. But at my age, people ask me, how do you want to be remembered? So I'm at the evening part of life now, and I like to be remembered as someone who's been through hell and was able to use that experience to make the suffering and be stronger as a result. So suffering to me brought me where I am now. I'm Dr. Edith Eva Eger. I went back to school, and I was about 40-something when my supervisor asked me, how will I get my doctorate? And I told him by the time I get my doctorate, I'll be 50. And he said, you'll be 50 anyway. And so today I like to tell people, go back to school and more doors are going to open up for you and you will become my colleague. So I am very happy to be interviewed by you. And I hope, I'm not smart, I hope to be wise.
Well, you are more than wise, and thank you for sharing your story in The Choice, which is another best-selling book that you wrote. It's the memoir. It goes into detail of what you experienced. And really, I love that you just told that story about I'll be 50 anyway. You'll be 50 anyway, because it's true. So many people get stuck and paralyzed by the fear of, or the regret and holding on to the past. Mm-hmm. And you're such a beautiful example of continuing to move forward and tapping into those gifts and using crisis and suffering and trauma to wake you up to your potential.
Yes, it's not what happens, it's what we do with it. And I think suffering makes you stronger, and I like to let people know that there are many situations that you're totally unprepared for, and you are told one thing and then you found another. So, it's very hard to remember that maybe your father told you he's going to take you to the movies next Wednesday, and you are getting ready and you want to go to that movie with father. And then father said, you understand, don't you? Father is busy that day. And so you may be disappointed, but you never get discouraged. Some people ask for things and you give it to them, and then you want something and they're not there. It's okay to live your life when you are looking at it from the inside out, rather than waiting for someone to make you happy and so on. So I think really good for you to be appreciated for what you do. I think you're saving lives, and I congratulate you for that.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I mean, I look at your story, and anytime I'm having a pity party in life, there's just nothing compares to the horrors and the hell that you lived through.
If she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Exactly. If Dr. Edith, if Edie can do it, you've given us the shining light of example. If you can overcome and learn to forgive and just survive what you went through, we can survive anything. I believe that. And
on the other hand, I like to mention that my friend, it's in my books, told me that we're going to be liberated by Christmas. And Christmas came and went, and she died the next day.
Yeah.
So you have to be more flexible than rigid.
Exactly. In your book, the Gift, 12 Lessons to Save Your Life, you talk about the prison of victimhood, the prison of avoidance, the prison of rigidity, which is what you're referring to now. And
your mind.
Yeah. And with your friend, and this is such a, we talk about this all the time in the healing world, a doctor's language is so powerful. So, and our mutual friend Deepak Chopra says, get the diagnosis, get the best medical advice that you can get, find out what's going on, but don't buy into someone's prognosis and let them rob you of your hope. And just like in the book, and you just mentioned your friend, she held on hope until Christmas. And then when that expectation, that liberation didn't come, she died along with her hope. So hope is so important to this journey of overcoming.
It's better to be flexible than being rigid.
We were on a podcast together, and she talked about whether or not, he said, well, you must have really fought to get through Auschwitz to be a fighter. And what we realized is that Edie wasn't fighting her way through Auschwitz, she was dancing. And it's the dancing that saved her. The fighters didn't live, those that could flow, those that could be flexible and dance and move. That was the best survival instinct.
Right. And that's amazing. And your mother told you no one can take away from you what you've put in your mind. Yes. So dancing, you went inside your head and you went to this other beautiful place and moved your body and stayed flexible. And I think later you even said that a person came up to you after one of your talks and said, why didn't you rebel? Why didn't you fight? But if you had, you wouldn't be here today to share your story. So that flexibility, that power of the mind and flexibility, was life-saving.
The fact is that life is more appreciated, and you don't even know until you lose a part of it. When you are locked in a prison, that's when you really begin to wonder what kind of a life hopefully is waiting for you, and even use the time to write a book. Mm-hmm. That's what people told me. Write a book. So that's how the choice came about.
Yes, beautiful. And you talk about there's so many poignant parts of your book, and you have this brilliant ability to have these like one-liners. So we'll hit on some of those. But like, for instance, the opposite of depression is expression. You talk about the prison of secrets, and until you realized all of the feelings you weren't allowing yourself to feel because the trauma was so horrific, and you were just sitting on all these feelings and didn't want to, dump them on your children, or, you just didn't think that you could survive experiencing all those feelings again, which is what we do. So at what point, what made you wake up to the fact that, oh my gosh, I need to feel, to process, to heal from the trauma so that I can move forward?
I think the word permission might be good for people, to give themselves permission to be human. Because if you're a perfectionist, you're going to procrastinate. You're going to think about it tomorrow, and then tomorrow doesn't come. And so I think it's important to think about your thinking and what you focus on. What you focus on, hoping to be in alignment to get you closer to a goal. Have an arrow. That's a good word. Have an arrow that you follow.
Thank you for listening to the Heal podcast. Be sure to tune in for more empowering wisdom and inspiring healing stories. Oh, and make sure you hit the follow button on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss that one episode that holds the answer you've been searching for. And if you feel inspired, we would love you to rate and review us so that we have the opportunity to reach more people. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram for some behind the scenes fun and more inspiration at Heal Documentary and at Kelly Goris. Thank you so much and be well.